Hey everybody! Just doing one more test here. I think this is the way. It's going to be. If you can hear me, then this is the way it's going to be. I've got my laptop in front of me and the camera next to me. I think this is going to work as long as you can hear me. Having little issues with the power cable, but that can be replaced if necessary. Yeah, just give me some feedback if you can hear me okay. Let me know. And we'll be going live at 7. Yes, sir. We will be going live at 7. What's the subject today, you may ask? AC/DC. What did you say? Hey, Mike, let me know. Give me some feedback. Can you hear me okay? Feedback from COVID chick, COVID chick, COVID chick. Feedback from COVID chick. I hope you can hear me, Michael Kovacic. Sounds good, picture good, says Frankie Toms. Okay, great. Then this is going to be the setup. So this is what I've got. I have here 3 lists. I have one called Mike. One from Buried on Mars, otherwise known as Kevin Sinister. He's a really good guy. And one from Hole in McGroin, which is a little fucked up. His list is more than just a little fucked up. But we'll see. And then I have a 4th list, which I have to write down manually, which is going to be from the Meatmaster General. It looks like it says team, but it actually says meat. Yes. So we will be doing tonight another Nigel Tufnell Top 10 albums list. But tonight we're doing AC/DC. Yes, we are. So let me get the Meat Man's list up here. Minutes after submitting his list, the Meat Man changed it. So I have to make sure I get the revision that he wanted here. Basically the 7, 8, 9 positions on his changed. It's got some good albums here, and one of them kind of surprises me, but I'm sure he will be tuning in to comment. At least I'm hoping he will be tuning in to comment. The Meat Man list. You can't read it because it's backwards. It's mirrored. Fuck, I think I've been doing this wrong. Yep. I'm writing them down in the wrong order. Alright, this is Meat. Meat. Take 2. Writing down his list. Frankie Toms. So also tonight, just so you know, I will be having Deke on again as my special guest. Looking forward to having Deke on. And I can't find my white hat. You know, my white fedora or whatever you want to call it? I can't find it. Oh, fuck. I can't find my white hat. So this is what we have to work with tonight. This evening's show is brought to you by Canada Dry. Okay, starting over the meat list again. Start with his revisions. That way I won't screw things up. Okay. What's going to be interesting tonight is I know I'm going to have to say the words "For Those About to Rock" a few times. So I'm kind of wondering how many times I'm going to say "For Those About to Rock." Meat and I picked a couple in common, but the top side of our lists are completely different. Completely different. So I was listening to some AC/DC on the way to the lake. We were listening to Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, which Jen loved. It brought her some memories of seeing AC/DC at SARS Stock, and I believe they played Dirty Deeds there. At SARS Stock. Remember SARS Stock? Remember when SARS was a thing? Holy fuck, eh? Here we are in the 4th month of COVID. You're the top side, says Scott. Well, I'd rather be a top than a bottom, so. John Hubner, how are you doing tonight? Mr. Deke and I are going to be counting down the top 11 AC/DC albums tonight. And I have 4 lists in hand, and Deke has 3. So this is actually going to be a long show tonight. I can't believe how many lists we have. It's great that so many people like participating. I'm really appreciating that. Maybe, you know what? Since there's a couple people watching, may as well tell you what some future themes that we have coming up are. I am going to be doing the top 11 ballads of all time. It'll be interesting to see how many people want to participate with that one, because I know a few people have already declined, like, I only like 11 ballads or whatever. But I'm looking forward to that, the top ballads list. I think that's a cool subject, personally. It's interesting. It's been a cool response. It's been a cool response to the idea of doing a top ballads list. But we'll see what I get. We'll see what kind of lists I get. And the other one that we have planned is going to be a sequel to the top 11 live albums list. We're going to do the next 11 live albums list. So that means we're going to hear number 23 through 12. And we will also, hopefully, be getting the list of the first top 11 from Harrison Kopp. Harrison Kopp didn't want to submit his list because he thought I had enough lists already. So I'm hoping to get a list from him. Okay, the meat list is now officially written down. There you go. It says, looks like it says team, but it says meat. I have a list from Holland McGroin, Buried on Mars, a.k.a. Kevin Semister, and myself. Here comes a truck. You can see. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so I've got, God, it's going to be a total of 7 lists. The nice thing here is at least, because AC/DC only have, I think it was 16 albums or something like that, somewhere in that range. We won't have a lot of repeat discussion. Once we've kind of gone over an album in detail, we're not going to repeat ourselves too much. Hey, Kevin, how are you? I'm waiting for Deke at this point, who I told 7 o'clock. I decided just to, get my setup all tested out and stuff like that. I'm hoping Meat shows up as well. But I have now, from yourself and other people, 4 lists, and Deke has 3. So 7 lists, which is the most that we've ever done. 7. Looking forward to it. Hope you like my setup here. I wanted to do a nice lake view setup, but the sun's setting, so it's going to give you too much glare. Yeah, this is going to be fun. What happened to 7, says Chris Sarr. 7, man. It's 7. That's what I said. 7. Fuck, man. What a demanding audience. Fucking demanding. Chris Sarr. Huh, what about 7? Hey, if you want, I'll show you my sister's place. Remember, I was mentioning that she has this property that she rents. Ooh, shit. There we go. There, can you see the cabin over there? She's on the porch right now, enjoying a coffee and a beverage. My sister has declined to appear on the show tomorrow. She says she's too busy. She's too busy. And I was like, that's kind of a horseshit answer. So I said to her, if you don't want to, just tell me you don't want to. It's not a problem. She's like, I don't want to. And I'm like, it wasn't that easy. But tomorrow I have a box of CDs that I'll be going through. These are the CDs that I inherited from... You can't hear anything? Chris, you can't hear anything? Everybody else can. I think. Does everybody else can hear? You guys can hear? Do you have audio? Check, check. Who's got audio? It's back. Okay, so it cut out. Anyway, you saw my sister's place. So she declined to appear for tomorrow. I'm going to be going through Uncle Don's CDs, the ones that I inherited. And not just going through them, but also show you how we used to buy them at the record store. And I can tell you by looking at these that they wouldn't be big money discs. But that's tomorrow. And tomorrow will just be casual. I just want to take it easy this weekend. I forgot to put my hearing aids in, says Chris Sarr. So there's this guy at work named Russell. He's the plant manager, and he is always kind of angry. But I used to think that he was really scary because he was always yelling. Turns out he wasn't really yelling. He just needed hearing aids. But yeah, he pure rage. He is kind of pure rage personified. I know he ripped the door handle off of his Dodge once. Pure rage. All right. Well, I'm just going to. You guys hang in there, man. I'm just gonna take a quick walk, wait for Deke to show up, and then we'll be live. Yeah. So you sit tight. I'm gonna take a quick walk. We got 18 minutes to go before we're at 7 o'clock, and it looks like everything's working good. Oh, power cable. Might have to replace this. Hopefully it's charging. It's charging or not. He was just joking about the hearing aids. Well, how the fuck do I know that? I'm getting too many Facebook notifications here. All right, I'm going to take a walk. I'll be back. We'll be going live in, let's say, 15 minutes, shall we? All right, I got the first coffee of the weekend brewing. No sign, Chris. Welcome to Foibles of the Dink Forest. Oh, geez. Fables of the Green Forest. Jesus Christ. Hey, there's Deke. All right. How's about that local sports team? Jesus Christ, you guys. I'm counting the wickers in the chair. It's the Dink Forest. This fucking guy. This guy's gonna fucking ruin my audio tonight. Fucking guy. All right. Well, since Deke is here, I'm finishing brewing my coffee, then we'll get started. Oh fuck! I just splashed ginger ale on my nose. Yeah, we're gonna need a coffee for this. So be right back. Sorry, there's no sign. You're in the middle of the Dink Forest apparently, and there's no sign. So, do you like my Pickle Rick shorts? There we go. All we needed was the new t-shirt. The Deep Forest Lapping at Leprino. What the fuck? All right. Let's invite Deke on. We'll do some audio tests and let's see how this goes. Also going to invite people.
How's it going?
Oh, we got Deke. Hey, Deke.
Hey, Guy. How are you, man?
Good, thanks. How's the audio?
Good, man. You're loud and clear. Let's do this.
So are you.
Boom.
I just want to wait until we get some feedback from the listeners on how the audio is, because sometimes they have valuable feedback.
Sure.
Just getting my camera right. Okay, so in more recent developments, I've now received a list from Uncle Meat.
Nice.
So I've got 4. You've got 3. We have 7 lists in total.
Wow. And one of my lists starts at 8, so I'll have to add T-Bone's brother in later. So let's get her going.
I'm getting good audio from the viewers.
Good.
And what they say. So I'm just going to get this up on my laptop so I can follow the comments more easily. Okay. Come on. My computer did a weird update just as I got here. 7 lists in total. Okay, mute that. Okay.
Mikey, when you edit this video,
yep,
you gotta keep the ginger ale spill on, man. That was classic.
You like that? Okay. If you insist, I might have to edit out some wicker chair scene. I got some feedback that maybe the wicker chair might be distracting. Kevin Semister says he was counting the weaves in the wicker chair.
I guess maybe he's the wicker man.
He's the wicker man. Okay, so I guess I'll introduce what we're doing.
Sure.
Which is the Nigel Tufnell Top 10 AC/DC albums of all time. And since it's a Nigel Tufnell Top 10, that means we start at 11.
That's right.
This week we have 7 lists, and I'm not sure how this is going to go. But one thing I will say before we start is that I thought at first that AC/DC was going to be a somewhat limited list because they only have like 15 or 16 albums or whatever. But because of the Australian variations and whatnot, we're getting some really interesting lists in from these guys.
Oh, that's good.
I will just start by saying this turned out better than I actually expected it to.
Perfect.
And Robert Daniels is now quoting The Wicker Man with the version with, what's his name? Anyway, not the bees! No, not the bees! That guy. I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. Someone will remind me in the comments. What order do we want to read these in?
How about we do the people who aren't here, and I'll go second last, and you go last. I'll do like you do your guys, and then I'll do T-Bone myself, and then you, and then reverse, or however you want to do it, and then I'll add T-Bone's brother Dar in when we get to the 8th round, number 8.
Nick Cage. Nick Cage is the bees guy. Not the bees! In his version of The Wicker Man.
The only version of The Wicker Man I know is Adrian Smith.
Did you see in the comment section, Holland confirmed this, there's a single mix of The Wicker Man with more vocal melodies. And it's a superior version of the song, but they didn't release it because there was no way for them to reproduce the vocals live. It's a $120 single.
You get it.
Yeah. You know my problem. You know my problem. Okay, so I'm going to put my lists in order of, I'm going to do Buried on Mars, Hole and McGroin, and myself for the ones that I read.
Okay.
And I guess I've already forgotten what are you starting?
You want me to start?
With one of yours? With one of the absentee lists?
Sure. I'll start with my good pal T-Bone. And in at a number 11 is 1983's Flick of the Switch.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about that one? It's just like 10 tracks of just kick-ass street rock, you know?
Oh shit, I forgot meat. Okay, hang on.
Oh, edit.
I've got to balance all my workload here. That album has made a couple of lists here. I like Flick of the Switch better than For Those About to Rock, personally.
Interesting.
And, I don't know if T-Bone does. I guess we'll find out as we go further down the list. But
I see Kevin already chirped them.
Too low. Well, we'll get to you, Kevin.
Yeah.
We'll get to you.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Me?
Me
with my guys?
Or you want me
Okay,
to
I'll
go
go with
then?
Kevin. I'll
Okay.
go with Chirpy. Chirpy
Yeah.
Semister.
Yeah. Go with Chirpy.
Chirpy Semister. And this is an album I actually played a little bit this afternoon because I wanted to refresh it. Black
Hmm.
Ice. 15 tunes is way too long, but they are the last ones we hear Malcolm strum on. And
Mm.
he's right on both counts.
Yeah, he is. You can't deny that for sure.
No, no, can't deny it.
No, no.
Harrison, how are you doing, buddy? Um, Kevin Semister says his list is the definitive one, by the way.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
pal.
Um, so you've got T-Bone, Dar, and Dar doesn't come until 8. So I'll go on to
Yeah,
Holland.
sure.
First of all, Holland I'm going to read his dishonorable mention first. Also, I will say that Holland used interesting names for all of his album titles, and I'm going to read them as is because this isn't coming from me. This is coming from Holland. His dishonorable mention is "Blow Up Your Asshole" for being a piece of shit. I'm not a big fan of the Blow Up Your Video album, so I agree with him for the dishonorable mention. For his number 11, he put the Razor's Hedge Trimmer. So we know what that is.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah. Next, Meat. Meat has the same Razor's Edge, number 11.
Interesting.
It is interesting. It's one of their most, I think, their second biggest selling album.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I
And
think
for
that.
guys like, I'm like a little bit younger than you, but for guys that were in high school at my age, Razor's Edge was the album for AC/DC fans. It was the new big thing, and they had just played Toronto, and everybody showed up wearing an AC/DC t-shirt the next day.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you lead off with Thunderstruck,
Yeah,
and
it's a hell of a
then
lead.
and then you bring in Bruce Fairbairn, who produced Razor's Edge, who has kind of at the time, a slant on the radio singles, and Money Talks is a
Well, what were the
Bruce
previous
Fairbairn.
two bands that he produced? Poison
Well,
and Aerosmith.
and Jovi. So yeah,
And Jovi, yeah, not
yeah.
too long prior to that, yeah.
So I mean, he had an eye on the radio, and that's kind of what got them back to that level. Was I think a lot of his doing, because you listen to the albums that Angus and Malcolm produced, which we all like, and some more than others, and yada yada. But they were doing it their way, and nobody was telling them any other thing because they would just fire them, you know. Whereas Bruce Fairbairn they obviously bought into what he was selling them at the time, and you can't deny the guy's track record, that's for sure. So yeah, that's a good pick.
Kevin Semister corrects me and says the Razor's Edge is number 4 in sales. Perhaps
Wow.
Highway to Hell and For Those About to Rock. Probably Highway to Hell and For Those About to Rock would be the other two.
Yeah, there you go. Still though,
But
still sold it to
I seem to
Jillian's.
remember the number of 6 million. I think it sold around 6 million, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Do you
Wow.
want to do
Hey.
your number 11?
Sure. My number 11 is the Who Made Who soundtrack.
Okay, so I was talking about this with Kevin, and he asked me if Who Made Who should count, and I said no, but I don't give a crap because we're just making lists here. Who Made Who I will allow because at least it had the 3 exclusive tracks. Okay, so go.
So, Who Made Who is basically their kind of greatest hits album, kind of an album with some new songs, kind of with the old songs, with Brian and Bon. I think Bon was just on Ride On, right? I think it was just the one song.
Correct.
And
Yeah, it was a lot of
but
fly in the wall material.
yeah, but I can tell you, man, when I first heard that, I think I bought it on cassette. I know T-Bone bought it on cassette when it came out. I mean, Who Made Who? I mean, that tune itself just oof, it just brought them back. I mean, even now at work when I hear it on the radio on our boombox, I always just crank that one up because to me it's just such a definitive AC/DC track. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds good, the playing's good. I mean, it's just makes you want to break things. So
I have
but
to read some comments here. Um, Chris Sarr says Thunderstruck is the best song. We used to listen to that before we hit the ice for the hockey school team, the Renegades. Robert Daniels says Maximum Overdrive. And Kevin Semister says, who made who counts? My list is fracked now. No, it's all good, man. We're just going to give Deke a pass on this. And to Rob Daniels, I want to say something real quick because you're the soundtrack guy. There are other AC/DC songs, incidental bits and pieces that were in the Maximum Overdrive movie but weren't on the AC/DC album. I'm just wondering if you, the soundtrack guy, were aware of that. Okay.
Such a good soundtrack album that me and T-Bone went to see that at the theater back in its theater run originally, and couldn't believe that they could make a 90-minute movie on trucks 316 around a truck diner. But anyways, good soundtrack album.
The original Stephen King short story was called Trucks.
There you go.
I don't know if you remember the Stephen King interview from Much Music from that period, but he said that his goal at the time was to make the loudest movie ever made. And he put instructions on the film canisters that were sent out to the movie theaters: play this film as loud as your establishment will allow. And he was surprised that most of them did.
No kidding.
That was Stephen King directed that movie. It was his directorial debut, and he was coked out of his tree. That's all I know about Maximum Overdrive. That's all I can tell you.
That's all you need to know.
Yep. And we're down to me. And I wanted to give a shout out to the Rock or Bust album, the last one. I'm a big fan of Underdogs, and that album, I noted that I really like the song Rock the Blues Away, Dogs of War, Sweet Candy, and Emission Control. And
nice.
Again, I spun the album a bit this afternoon just to refresh it. And yeah, I want to give Rock or Bust the 11th spot.
There you go. Yeah,
I think we're back to T-Bone.
We're back to T-Bone?
Or are we back to Holland? Or Kevin? I don't know. T-Bone.
T-Bone? His number 10
Sue
is...
Williamson. Sue Williamson.
The boss is watching.
Thanks for letting me borrow him for a short while.
T-Bone's number 10 is Blow Up Your Video. And you know what? Nothing wrong with that record, man. I think it's a good record. Even, I know people are kind of, but you know what? I think it's all right. You know, the only real song I don't like on it is the last one, This Means War. That, to me, is the kind of the filler track. But
it's a little frantic.
I mean, Take Off, I like some of those tracks that nobody talks about, like Nick of Time, Go Zone, like...
Two's Up.
Two's Up, man.
That's my song on that album.
Yeah, that is probably my favorite tune on that album, too. I mean, Brian Johnson's just wailing on that thing, Straight on, gonna let him in. Like he's just so off the rails good on that. But, a lot of people, for whatever reason, they diss that record, but not T-Bone.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Whoa, sorry, pal.
Whoa.
And there we go.
This time, the technical issues aren't on my side.
No, it's just how I have this phone angled. But, so good on him. And he stands by his picks.
You don't want to know Sue's last comment.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for taking him off my hands.
That's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna read my absentee lists.
Sure.
We got Kevin Smither, otherwise known as Buried on Mars. And for those of you who don't know who he is, he does a lot of movie and music reviews, a lot of AC/DC. So check out Buried on Mars on WordPress.
And if I can add, he's also... Sorry.
We have a squirrel fight.
And I have to mention that I watch him on I can't remember the name of the YouTube one. He does with this other guy named Bill and this other character named Bambi, and they just go through archives of old vinyls, and Kevin just went through all his AC/DC, which was about 350 albums. And then this past Monday, which he made me watch almost the full 2 hours, was he did his top 6 Dave Roth Van Halen albums countdown, which I will add, we both have the number 1 Van Halen album. So yeah, it was cool. It's cool stuff. I wish I remembered the name of it. Tell him to throw it up there in the comments and check him out. And this was not a paid message.
Kevin's complaining that the squirrels are interrupting his promotional spot. Uh, so Kevin's number 10, I'm going to move in a little closer so that you can hear me over the squirrels. Kevin's number 10 is Rock or Bust. The album that I picked is my number 11. Yeah. He says he didn't like it at first, but he grew quickly on him because he kept listening to it. The first 3 songs are classic, and the rest makes for a solid listen to the end. Nice. The Vinyl Collection is the name of his show.
That's it. You guys should follow it on YouTube. It's good stuff, man. A lot of info. Even Kevin and those guys taught me how to properly clean a record, which was cool. So there you go.
That's cool. Holland has, for his number 10, Fly on My Balls.
Next.
And Meat. This is where I saw Flick of the Switch earlier. Flick of the Switch he's got as his number 10. And did I mention that I like the Flick of the Switch, the classic cover art?
It's great. Simple.
Yeah.
Yet effective. Very effective.
Looks great on vinyl.
Love it on vinyl because
it's not the same on CD.
No, because it has that lifted edge on the vinyl.
Right.
Which they kind of were doing for, I guess that was their 3rd record in a row that they kind of did that. The AC/DC kind of popping out a bit.
Back in Black? Yeah. Back in Black for those about the rock. Yeah.
Flick.
Correct.
And then they went to Fly on the Wall and they stopped a good thing.
All right, you're Mr. 1537 Joe. Of course, we know Fly on the Wall is one of his favorites. I don't know if it's his number 1, but I know if he put in a list, it would be up there. I believe you are up now, though.
I'm up now? My number 10? We're at 10, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, me and T-Bone are on the same wavelength. Blow up your video.
Wow.
Yeah. So there we go.
Plan? Did you discuss? Did you collude?
No. I just sent him a text the other day. I said, throw me down your top 11, and same with Dar. And he got back to me, and I was just flipping I wrote them all out here, so I was just kind of eyeballing it before we started, and I thought, holy crap, we kind of have some that are pretty close, some are that aren't even close, but blow up your video. Boom.
Cool.
So, yeah, I just like that record, man. I don't know. It's just, that was that one, and I think Roth's Skyscraper were the first 2 records that came out in January of 1988. Little tidbit
sounds
there
about
for
right.
you. Yeah, so.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And both were probably the first 2 new releases that I ever bought right away on CD. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got Skyscraper on CD. Now, I don't want to get too off track here, but I got Skyscraper on CD about 3 years after the fact because the cassette, I'd gone through 2 cassettes and both got mangled. Yeah.
Too much hot dog and a shake.
I'm last. I'm last here for my number 10. Meat says, seek the Deek's knowledge. Oh, and he's suing us, by the way, for the use of the phrase seek the Deek.
I told him it's all good. But I already told him I'm going to swipe the Max the Axe Master, so I basically own those now.
He says, Mr. Tidbit, Sue says, Mr. Tidbit, rocking the facts. My number 10 is For Those About to Rock.
Nice.
We salute you. Hey, Justin Gowden, how you doing? I don't really have anything to say here. It had to go somewhere, so it's at number 10. That's all I'm going to say.
Perfect.
Back to T-Bone, number 9.
Back to T-Bone, number 9. His number 9 is Black Ice.
Nice. I'm surprised we're seeing some of these later albums, but this is great. Hello, Brian Gervan.
Yeah, he's that one surprised me on his list because, to be quite honest with you, it's nowhere near on mine. But anyways, that's what's cool about these lists is discussion and impact on what you're listening to. And to him, that album resonated with him. I guess,
Each album here, there's going to be a personal connection for almost every single one, which is great.
Yeah, remind me when we get to his pick of For Those About to Rock. It's a pretty cool story.
Okay. Speaking of For Those About to Rock, Kevin Smister's number 9. He says, there are some great moments on this album, but it is a little too polished. That would be Mutt Lange. Mm-hmm. Some of the tempos on songs like Let's Get It Up and Night of the Long Nights are a little too slow. Spellbound might be their most underrated tune. Um, I really liked that they kind of went back to the self-produced thing with Flick of the Switch after that.
It was a good move. I
Yeah.
mean, I read the Mick Wall book a few months ago and I reviewed it, and basically ACDC was sick of Mutt Lange, basically Malcolm and Angus. Like they went bonkers when it took Mutt Lange about 2 weeks to get a snare sound on Phil Rudd's drums in two different pair of studios. And you can tell on Flick of the Switch, they just mic'd it and let's roll tape. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
went the exact opposite of smooth right into the rawness. I think that's basically what you can. They never really looked back after that. Like they basically,
I
you know,
I think they self-produced the next couple of albums, and then they
yeah,
got George Young to do "Blow Up Your Video."
yeah,
And it was only with Razor's Edge that they went with Fairburn. Because if I remember correctly, Blow Up Your Video was a little bit of a commercial disappointment in
hmm,
comparison to what they'd done in, around the mid, the early 80s. So that's when they got Fairburn involved. But they did, between them and George Young, basically took care of business themselves.
I know that originally they were planning to record with Vanda and Young the Razor's Edge album, but somebody between the two of them in the family got super sick. So then they kind of
Oh,
stepped back, and then I guess it was their A&R guy who said, you guys got to look at this Fairburn guy because he's sold a chameleon records producing these bands. Give him a shot. So I guess they went out there and talked to him, and they liked what they heard, and they obviously had no regrets after that move. So
I think
yeah.
Fairburn was a very artist-friendly kind of producer.
Mm,
And I don't think you can really hear where Bruce Fairburn imposes his will in other bands like Bon Jovi and Aerosmith, but you
mm.
don't hear it at all with AC/DC. You don't hear any of those Bruce Fairburnisms on The Razor's Edge at all.
No, but you kind of hear it at the tail end of Money Talks, where it kind of does that tempo change, and it's really, really a hooky catch. I mean, it's to me that's right
Okay.
out of the playbook. But yeah, I know what you're saying, like
Yeah,
fire your
yeah.
guns and all that other stuff. That's ACDC for sure. But I think, and plus he probably had somebody yapping in his ear. Unlike the other record before, Blow Up Your Video, you think we can get a song or two on the radio?
Right.
Like so.
Kevin
Yeah,
Semister adds that George Young also produced the Who Made Who songs.
there you go. Did a good job on them.
After Kevin's list, we have Holland,
Hmm.
High Voltage Vibrator, the Australian version. And this is, I think he's the first one here to put an Australian version on the list, but there's a few people who have done that, and that's what makes this more interesting, a little bit deeper.
Neat.
The Australian version of High Voltage, which I personally have not heard, and I didn't really have time to do the research on what the different tracks are. But as a general rule of thumb, anytime we're talking about an Australian version here, assume there's going to be a slightly different track list, and assume the mix is also different.
Hmm.
So he's got the Australian mix of High Voltage, and Meat at my prompting that this was okay to include. Meat has the Jailbreak EP as his number 9,
Wow.
which
There
I
we
like.
go. Yeah. Good move.
Jailbreak was sort of it was a way to get some of those Australian exclusive tracks out there in the North American market, and it wasn't released until long after Bond had passed away. But it was an early part of my personal AC/DC collection, so I will talk about it more when we get to my take on Jailbreak.
Right.
So that's it with my absentee list. We are on to you now.
And we're in round 8.
We're still on number 9. Your number 9.
Oh, my number 9. My number 9 is High Voltage.
Nice.
Rock and
Same as
roll. Yeah.
Holland.
Yep. So, well, mine's High Voltage, the Canadian version, the clean
Which is the one
Canadian
I have.
version. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a great record. I mean, that's just a fun one. I mean, they still, even on our local crap radio, play It's a Long Way to the Top, which they would never touch back in ACDC's heyday. But for some reason, they play for ACDC, they play that one quite a bit. But I mean, how can you not love it with the 3 minutes of the bagpipes taking that song out, you know?
Okay, so you already know that I am a big fan of bizarre instrumentation in rock music.
Mm-hmm.
So give me some bagpipes, and my mind is blowing. I hadn't ever heard bagpipes in a rock song except for a little tiny bit of bagpipes in a House of Lords song. And then
Okay.
when I heard that AC/DC, it was like, yeah, Harrison. I'm not going to go through the box of CDs until tomorrow. I'm not sure when. We're not going to worry about it now because we're fucking talking AC/DC. Oh,
And
sorry for all the swearing.
one thing more about the bagpipes, for all the CanCon listeners out there, there was a Canadian band called the Mudmen,
Yes.
and they had two dudes on each side of the stage. We seen them open for the Headstones, and they had one. These guys looked like WWF wrestlers. They were huge, and
Yeah.
they just blew the bagpipes. But that was one song they ended their set with, was "It's a Long Way to the Top," and thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. So there you go, Mikey. More bagpipes for
They
you.
would kind of have to.
Yeah, they were like Green Day
My,
with bagpipes.
yeah. My number 9 album, Flick of the Switch. I had For Those About to Rock at 10 and Flick of the Switch at 9. And I don't really have anything to add about it. We talked about it enough. So that's my number 9.
Nice.
I guess now let's start with Dar at number 8.
All right, T-Bone's brother Dar is officially in at number 8 with "Fly on the Wall." Boom!
Wow.
Yeah, like good on him, man. Going like that's an outside kind of the successful box pick, I guess you could say.
Unless you're Joe 1537.
1530, yeah, there you go. But there's some good stuff on it. That's the thing with AC/DC. People sometimes hammer on their mid 80s to late 80s stuff, but nothing wrong with it. Like, sure, you might say, well, they have 3-4 songs in, but you can't really say it's an album filled with filler. I mean, Fly in the Moment has its wall, like the has its moments. I mean, the opening song is a winner. Playing with Girls,
Yep.
Stand Up is a good tune.
Come on,
Sink the
Sink
Pink,
the Pink,
yeah.
man.
Hell or High Water.
And
I
my
mean, there's
personal
good
favorite
stuff
song
on
is
there.
still Danger.
Danger, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Danger.
No, so you know what? Good on Dar, man. First one I think
Yep.
to put Fly on the Wall here.
Yep, that's the first appearance of Fly on the Wall.
Well, there we go. He's in.
All right, T-Bone.
T-Bone's number.
First of all, actually, before we go to T-Bone, what's the relation between Dar and T-Bone? Which one's older?
T-Bone's older. T-Bone just turned 53 back in March, and Dar just turned 50 a few months ago. So
okay.
he picked up a lot of music on what me and T-Bone were listening to. I mean, obviously he was living under the same roof as his brother, so there was always tunes, and so and then he finally started forging his own path musically, but I think we kind of gave him a bit of a push. So
gotcha.
Yeah, good on him. So welcome, Dar.
All right, so let's do T-Bone's number 8.
T-Bone's number 8 is Razor's Edge.
Cool.
So yeah, it's getting some love in the Tufnell Top 11.
It's starting to see a rise. And Kevin Semister adds that Fly in the Wall just needs a remix. The drums are too loud. I don't disagree with you about the remix, but the vocals sound garbled to me. I cannot tell what he's singing in the opening track at all. And without reading a lyric sheet, I'm lost.
Is that Fly on the Wall?
Fly in the Wall, yeah.
Yeah, that's why if you bought the album, they included the lyrics.
Smart.
Yeah.
Kevin Semister has here's another appearance for Flick of the Switch at number 7. He says AC/DC, heavy, angry, and raw, which is something we talked about earlier with the production.
Nice.
Brian sounds like he is genuinely having fun on Landslide, and he's right.
Mm-hmm.
So fantastic. Thank you, Kevin, for that. For Holland,
good luck, pal.
For those about to what?
I said good luck, pal.
For those about to fuck, we penetrate you. Okay. And Meat for his number 8. Is this the first appearance of Back in Black?
Yes, it is.
Back in Black, number 8, Uncle Meat.
Yeah,
maybe he will add some commentary to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is not his highest Brian Johnson either. He's got some other Brian Johnsons that are higher.
Okay.
But yeah, surprising Uncle Meat broke the ice for Back in Black at number 8.
Nice.
Oh, we have a comment. Eric Litwiller, Back in Black has been played to death, and frankly, I find the songs a little too samey overall, even for AC/DC standards. But it's a complete album nonetheless. So many staples. But it's a cool case. Okay, but a case could be made that it's one of the top 10 most important rock albums of all time, if not top 5. Totally right, because it
Yeah.
resurrected AC/DC as a band.
Well, totally resurrected them. I mean, but that's the thing with these lists. I mean, you could move you could move Back in Black from 8 to 4 tomorrow. Like, it's just whatever you're feeling in that moment. I mean, I know everybody, when you think AC/DC top list, well, what's their best album? Well, is it Back in Black by sales? Absolutely, by sales. But
Yeah,
this is all
yeah.
our personal favorites. So you know what? Hey, Uncle Meat, he says it's number 8. Yeah, it's number 8. It's all good. Tomorrow might be his number 7 or 9. Who knows?
I think you could make an argument as well that even critically, some of these albums might be might be better than Back in Black, though not more important historically. But we'll get there.
We will get there.
You are now up with your number 8.
And I think this might be the first appearance of Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. I think. Did anybody take it?
I think you might be right. I don't see it written down on any of these lists here. Oh fuck! A fly just got squished on Holin's list. Isn't that funny?
That's not a bad thing, pal.
Dirty Deeds. I was talking about this earlier in the pre-stream portion of the stream.
Okay.
Jen and I gave it a spin on the way up to the lake today.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we spun the Australian version. It's the only Australian AC/DC I own. But you mean the Canadian version, which is I also own.
I mean the Canadian version, the one that I bought back in 1981 when they re-released it and drove Malcolm that album to come out when they were trying to break a new singer in. So, yeah.
Disrupt. We're getting a little bit of chop on your side. See how if anybody has any feedback on that. This brings us to number 7.
Your audio's good, Mikey, but you're blurry to me.
Okay. You're kind of choppy to me. Not much I can do about it.
Just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, you're starting to blur a little bit. But I can see that. Let's go back to Dar 7.
Dar's number 7 is High Voltage.
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Canadian version.
Oh, wait. No. Sorry, I read T-Bones. His number 7, Dar's?
Shit.
Oh, I'm screwing up here. Number 7 for Dar is Black Ice. Another showing for Black Ice, yeah.
Very high.
Yeah. Nice, yeah. There we go.
I think Kevin had a good point when he said that 15 songs was a bit too much.
Yeah, that is, an hour of AC/DC, that's a lot, man.
I thought Razor's Edge was almost longish with 12 songs.
Yeah. But, good on them. They're giving you more money, more value for the buck.
That's the counterpart of the argument.
Yeah.
Just as a little sidetrack here, in the 90s, obviously CDs became the dominant format, and you could squeeze basically about 74 minutes onto a CD at that time.
Yeah.
Which was way more than you could put on a record unless you were doing a double album, which cost way more.
Yeah.
So CD meant that bands just kind of barfed out huge albums.
Yeah.
And that was a big change between the vinyl era and the CD era.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, huge. I mean, I still remember, I think one of the first CDs I bought that was over 60 minutes or at 60 minutes was, that was new at the time, was Doc and Back for the Attack.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow, 60 minutes on a CD. That's crazy. And then after that, everybody was doing it. So, yeah.
Apparently, Chris Sars says I'm coming in choppy. I don't know if I'm okay. Darren Erickson is online and he liked Mike's shirt.
Attaboy, Dar. Give me an R. Well, hey, there's
Dar. Oh.
Yeah.
Dar and Darren.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
He knows, man. Helix in the story. Troy, we're out of Helix.
Meat says that I'm choppy because I'm using Dink Forest Wi-Fi. So a few weeks ago I was Bumface, and now I'm Dink Forest today. T-Bone's list is next, which you kind of spoiled.
Yeah, that's number 7, and T-Bone's is High Voltage. So
Yes.
that's a pretty good spot for High Voltage, like
Yeah.
not bad at all. So T-Bone
I
likes those
have
bagpipes
Kevin.
too.
I love it. Here's Kevin Semister's number 7, Flick of the Switch. Yet another appearance for Flick of the Switch.
Right.
Wait. No, I'm losing track here. I've already read this. Shit, I read two of his in wrong order. Flick of the Switch is his number 7, which I've already
Okay.
read.
Okay.
I accidentally missed his number 8, so I'll just read it now. His number
Sure.
8 was Razor's Edge. I would have tightened the end up for a total of 10 songs instead of 12, but Bruce Fairbairn knew what he was doing otherwise. So I screwed up Kevin's list, his 7 and 8. His 7 is Flick of the Switch, which I've already discussed.
Well, that's not bad.
Poland's number 7
mhm.
is TNT, which he calls Tits and Taint. That's an Australian exclusive album, by the way. And that brings us to Meat, whose number 7 is For Those About to Rock.
Nice. There we go.
Which he has one step higher than Back in Black.
That's right. That's right. Well,
And then we're to you.
to me, and we're at, sorry, I've lost track here. We're at number 7, right?
Afraid so, yes.
Okay. My number 7 is Razor's Edge.
Nice.
Yeah. So good overall solid record. I see what Kevin's saying, tighten it up at 10 songs, but as that's that album, I like some of that stuff on the second side. She Got You by the Balls, that's a good tune.
Mistress for Christmas, whatever side that's on.
Yeah, I think that's on side 1, but I mean, yeah, there's one you could kind of, but they had some good killer songs on there. Fire Your Guns, I love, man. It's just like a good 2-minute little ass kicker tune. No fooling around,
Kevin Semister is contacting his lawyer right now for misrepresentation. And Chris Sarr is complaining that I'm flipping my lists too many times. So, Chris Sarr.
Wow. Give me an R.
Okay, so we're done. My number 7.
Okay.
Back in Black. Back in Black, which is the second appearance now of Back in Black. As we will see, my preference... Wait a second. We skipped my number 8. Somehow, we skipped my number 8.
Okay, what is it, pal?
I'm doing a shit job tonight.
I
wanted to give a big... I think my number 8 is the only time this album appears on this list. Stiff Upper Lip. I love that album. Love it. It's another George Young production. And it's so jangly. It's like old-timey rock and roll AC/DC. I love Stiff Upper Lip.
Not a bad pick. That has Satellite Blues on it?
Yeah.
Great track. That's a great track.
Okay, so I fucked up. I fucked everything up. My number 7 is still Back in Black. I think we got everybody's number 7 on my side.
Okay.
So let's get this train back on the rails with Dar's number 6.
Dar's number 6 is Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap.
Nice. Well done, Dar.
Yeah, you gotta love that album. Big Balls, Problem Child, Ain't No Fun. It's just a good record. It's just fun to slap on, and you could really. They just plugged in and just let it rip back then. And those, there's some charm about those old AC/DC records sounding like that, like just live almost,
At the time, I thought that Big Balls was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life until Accept came out with Balls to the Wall.
and the video of Udo sliding around on the wrecking ball.
We thought it was hilarious when Wolf Hoffman kind of like puts his guitar right over Udo's head like that's a flying V. This is weird, man. It's like they're picking on the little guy and like hitting him in the head with a guitar.
Yeah. Little dude
Meat
dressed
says
in
Dirty
camouflage.
Deeds was his very first AC/DC.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a great starting point. I mean, you know what you're getting with them.
Mine too.
You know what you're getting with them on that one.
So that was Dar.
Dar's number 6.
T-Bone. Oh,
T-Bone's.
Dar has a comment.
Oh.
Dar has a comment. Big balls was so badass when I was a kid. Who gets away with that?
especially
You
at the
know,
end when they go ball sucker.
what the
That's
fuck,
the
man?
yeah
It's like they have this premise that the song is about a ball, like a party, a celebration.
yeah
And then they fucking just at the end it's like, no, ball sucker. It's like they didn't
yeah.
even they gave up the premise, you know?
And that's the thing you got to love
Okay.
about them. Like they just didn't care, right?
No, no.
No. So
All right, let's
uh,
go T-Bone.
T-Bone's number 6 is this might be the first showing for it. Is Let There Be Rock.
Nice.
Yeah,
Um, it
I
might
think.
be.
Yeah.
Might be,
So
yeah.
yeah, you know what? Good album. Another one where they just kind of plugged in and just let it rip. And you know,
Yeah.
sometimes those are the best sounding, best records. You know, they and probably because their budget probably dictated that as well back then. I mean, outside of
And
Australia, I don't think they were
technology.
selling
Budget
too much.
technology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that too. So very good. So on to
Um,
my sorry.
Kevin Semister's number 6
Okay.
is the first appearance, I think, of Powerage.
Yep.
He says it's uneven at times, but a strong album overall. Riff Raff might be their best tune. I'll never get tired of Gone Shootin'. Kicked in the Teeth is a fine closer. And I will talk about Gone Shootin' a little bit further on when we get to a different list. So that's awesome, Kevin. Holland, uh, the US/Canadian version of Dirty Dick's Done Dick Cheese. And Meat, for his number 6, he's got High Voltage. So yet
Nice.
another appearance for High Voltage.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that brings us to you.
And my number 6, and this might be the first appearance for this one, is Highway to Hell.
I think it is the first appearance of Highway to Hell.
Yeah. So
Smack in the middle, right in the middle of your list.
right in the middle, man. You wait till we get closer to the top, then we'll be up for discussion. Sinister will probably pass out my top 3, but the hell with him.
You might pass out at some of his. He's got some great stuff here, man.
Oh, he does, no doubt.
And that brings us to me with my number 6. And I put Highway to Hell as well.
Nice.
And I took note of the songs Girls Got Rhythm, Touch Too Much, Love Hungry Man, and If You Want Blood. Particularly Touch Too Much. Love that song.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Back in the days when we did the Current River Band, we actually tried. You know, T-Bone will kill me for saying this, but we actually played "Touch Too Much" once live, and we heard the audio. We heard the audio back, and it sounded like T-Bone's balls were in a vice. And needless to say, it was dropped after that. Sorry, pal, I had to tell the story, but yeah, we heard it. It was like, ooh, yeah. Even he was the first to admit it. He was just cringing. He's going, "Oh, get rid of that." Hey, we tried,
going to
man.
be watching this on his big screen TV later on tonight, you know.
Yeah, you'll probably try and get me in my sleep at some point now for telling that story. Sorry, pal. It's all about the rock and roll.
Well, why don't we do something? We've done a full round of number 6. We're on to number 5. Why don't we just segue into T-Bone's number 5 since we were just talking about him?
Sure. His number 5 is Dirty Deeds.
Right on.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's getting up there. So, you know, gotta love these lists, man, because everybody just has stuff everywhere, and it's pretty cool for conversation. That's awesome.
Dar says that Touch Too Much may be their best song ever, and the Current River version was pretty decent.
Dar was drinking heavily that night, I think.
And that's a perfect segue into Dar's number 5, I guess.
Yeah, perfect. Dar's number 5 is Flick of the Switch.
Hey, Frank Lafredo's on.
Hey, there we go, the Current River Band. Yeah, true story. Can I tell a quick story about the Current River Band's first time playing Crocs?
Oh my God, I didn't know you played Crocs.
Yeah, we played Crocs, and you know, Frank knew our guitar player at the time, Moose. So Moose kind of got us in there. We didn't. I kind of knew Frank from when he brought in the Tragically Hip and the Headstones and stuff, but never really met the guy. So we played our set, and a lot of people I worked with came out. So we filled up Crocs pretty good on a Saturday night, and we knew we weren't professionals. We did the best we could, and we played, you know, our Current River tunes and some cover tunes, and everybody was like going crazy over us, but we knew we were kind of. So I just remember we're packing up our gear, and it's the end of the night, and it's like 1 a.m, and I just remember the kitchen door to the back of the Crocs just swung open, and Frank just sticking his arm through the door and going, "Moose!" like this, and then we're like, "Moose, I guess we should go with you." So we walked to the back, and there's Frank, and I'll never forget. You know, he had some money in his hands, and he said, "You guys suck tonight, but you know how to pull a crowd. Can you play Tuesday night?" Oh, that's the greatest compliment we could have ever got. So
That's
God,
awesome.
God bless you, Frank. I don't know if you remember that, but holy shit, man. Oh, man, we
Do a
laughed.
quick plug. Do a quick plug for Frank's movie.
Yeah, Frank's movie, the documentary on Crocs, $5 at the door, and it basically is chronicling all the bands he's brought through. I mean, he stuck his neck out. I think we talked about this last time in our top live albums. He stuck his neck out on a lot of these bands coming through here. I mean, some shows, I mean, he'd be the first to tell you, you know, he jammed it to the rafters, and others 10 people. I mean, he took the hit on some shows, but he never gave up. And I think that's the best thing you can say about him, because if it wasn't for Frank in this town, I think local bands, especially like us, there's no way we could have played any other place. Like Frank would just let you get up there and just hone your chops if you know, give you a shot. And whether it was opening or playing on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday, he always would help you out. And, you know, I think that's the best thing I can say about the guy. Plus, he's a great guy. I mean, you know, loves music, man. That's, you know, and I think it's going to be great. He's been posting stuff because the documentary's been shown out in Calgary, and I think you follow him on Instagram and Twitter as well, Mike. That's awesome. And he says we did suck.
As per prior arrangement, Frank will be.
That's awesome.
As per prior arrangement, Frank will be sending me $10 via PayPal.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have. And, you know, we have this place
Dar
called.
has a comment. You might have to address this. This looks important. Current River version of Friends in Low Places is a classic.
Yeah, that was, you know, quick story there too, is we brought in a bunch of ladies I worked with. At the time I was probably 23, and these ladies were probably my age now, and they all loved Garth Brooks. So they said, "Do you guys do country?" They go, "Do you guys do country?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, if you do country, we'll come out." And I'm counting heads at work, and I'm thinking, well, there's 15 there. Yeah, we do play country. And then I went to T-Bone and said, well, we got to do a country tune now. And so we're, you know, and then all of a sudden Friends in Low Places came up. So we tried to do it the way Garth Brooks did it for 3/4 of it. And then the last quarter of the song, T-Bone counted in, and we went into basically a thrash version of it, because we just couldn't. There's audio of that floating around somewhere. I'll see if I can get it for you.
We need that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Dar's number 5.
Dar's number 5 is Flick of the Switch.
Nice, yet another appearance.
Yeah. So, yeah, what can you say about that good old jamming record, right? Yeah. Didn't we already do number 5? Oh, I lost track here.
I think we just did T-Bone's number 5. I think we just did it.
Okay. There we go.
So Kevin Semister's got quite an extensive note here for his number 5, which is specifically the Australian version of Dirty Deeds, which is the one I listened to in the car today.
Okay.
He says the only advantage that the international version has over the Australian one is love at first feel. The rest is a mess. Get the Australian version of the album. Just in case you are not sure what has been changed, Rock in Peace and Jailbreak were removed from the Australian version for the US version. Rocker and Love at First Feel were added. There's shorter versions of Big Balls, Dirty Deeds, Ain't No Fun, and Rocker. I noticed that. Rocker sounds out of place because it was originally on TNT. And on the Australian version, Big Balls goes seamlessly into Rock in Peace, which was the track that it was. I bought the album for Rock in Peace, not knowing about the other differences, right? Wow. So thank you for that information, Mr. Semister. Holland. Oh, Jesus. Poland's number 5 is Flick of the Dick to Clean the Piss. I think he's really stretching for some of these. But he does add that it's their most underrated, stellar release. Fuck the naysayers in the ass. So
Sure.
for Flick of the Switch fan. And Meat for his number 5.
Mhm.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Wow, there we go.
But the version that he grew up with, which was the Canadian version.
Which is the one I grew up and the only one I own.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, James Kalen, I'm not eating a worm tonight. No, not eating a worm tonight.
not eating a worm.
Back to your number 5.
My number 5 is Let There Be Rock.
Nice. I think
Yeah.
the second appearance now of this album.
Yeah, I think it is. And yeah, you know, like I said, they just plugged it in and let it rip. You know, I like Go Down, Dog Eat Dog, Overdose. Yeah, that's a great tune. Dog Eat Dog too. That's just like them 3 minutes of just to your face.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. That's all I got
And my
on
number
that.
5 is my number 5 is Jailbreak. Second appearance of Jailbreak.
Nice.
And
nice.
it wasn't my first AC/DC, but I seem to remember getting it for my 15th birthday. So,
Mhm.
Still fairly early.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that Baby Please Don't Go wasn't an AC/DC song.
No kidding.
Sorry, I got a beep there. I didn't know that Baby Please Don't Go was a cover.
I only knew it was.
I like Jailbreak. I still listen to Jail. Hang on, I'm just getting this. I got to clear this message. I still like Jailbreak. I still listen to Jailbreak. Okay, enough with me. Number 4, T-Bone.
T-Bone's number 4 is Power Age. What can you say about that
Second
one?
appearance. Second
Yeah, might
appearance
be.
of Power Age, I think.
Yeah, might be the second appearance of Power Age. I mean, that's
Great album.
very great album. They just plug in and go. So all good on that one.
Harrison Kopp with a report directly from Australia. Guess what? My local CD store only has the international version of Dirty Deeds. I believe that's treason of the highest order.
Wow, there you go. Right from
Yep.
the source, living in the country. Yeah, good
All right, what's
stuff, buddy.
Dar got to say?
For number 4,
Yeah, what's Dar got?
for those about to rock, he salutes you. So
Nice.
yeah, that's up there
Eric
too.
Litwiller. That's geographical blasphemy.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. You know.
Well
yeah.
said.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with For those about to rock. I mean, I'm going to get into that a little later, but yeah, it's a good record.
Kevin Semister for his number 4. We have a more detailed description of TNT, which again, that's an Australian album.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really regret not buying it the day that I saw it at Encore Records for $20 on CD. That was a boneheaded move, not buying TNT. Kevin says AC/DC's first real album. Pretty much all of it ended up on the international version of High Voltage, except for Rocker and School Days. So based on his text there, I support his TNT at number 4. Holen, for his number 4, has Highway to the VD Clinic.
That's better. That's
And
better.
Meat, for his number 4, he has If You Want Blood. If you want blood, you got it. Yeah, good one on Meat. How many times has that come up so far? I don't even know.
If You Want Blood,
Yeah,
the live album,
yeah.
that's the first time.
Wait, is that a live album?
Yeah, If You Want Blood, you got it. That's the
Yeah.
live album. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, we might have to get some Meat commentary on that one.
Mikey's going to do some editing tonight.
Maybe.
Yeah, just joking.
Chris Sar's complaining about this killing his data. Well, fuck, man. I don't know. Use your Wi-Fi. I don't know. Don't complain to me about killing your data. The show is the show. Watch Netflix. It'll kill your data.
There you go.
Shit. Where were we? Meat. So that brings us to your number 4.
My
Oh,
number.
Ladano told me it was allowed. Apparently, I told him it was allowed. Okay, so
There we go. Hey, it's all good. I mean, I threw Who Made Who in there at number
sure.
11, so all is good. My
You know
number
what?
four.
Okay, yeah, it's okay to see a little one or two different ones. Sure. Meat cheats, says Kevin Semister. Okay, sorry, you're
Meets
number 4.
cheats. My number 4 is Back in Black. I mean,
Nice.
that was my intro to AC/DC back in, God, I think we were in grade 8 when that came out. And I'll never forget, we had, I don't know if maybe you guys still have it or had it down there. Remember Record on Wheels? Was that a
Yeah,
song
we
on
had
Ontario?
one in Guelph. Yeah.
I think it was Record on Wheels, and we had it here. Maybe it lasted a year or two, but that's where about 5 of us from my grade 8 class, we all went and bought Back in Black, and we all took it home. Like, this is 1980, and within 20 minutes, we were all phoning each other. Does yours skip? Does yours skip? Yep, yep, yep. All the records skipped. So we phoned Record on
Really?
Wheels, and the guy said, yeah, the whole shipment skipped. Bring him in. So we brought him in,
Wow.
and we handed him over. He goes, well, I haven't gotten the new ones yet, so I'll call you. And so we gave him our phone numbers. Yet we were calling him every day after school. Is it in yet? Is it in yet? Is it in yet? And then finally, when it was in, we went and got it. And I remember playing it. Mind you, I didn't have the best stereo system back then, but I got through side 1 and I thought, wow, this album's awesome. And then I flip it over to side 2 and Back in Black right away starts skipping. And I'm like, okay, I am not taking this back. So I pulled out the Scotch tape and got some pennies and put it on the needle. And I thought, no way, Jose, after I heard side 1, I am not parting with Back in Black. So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, amazing. So the whole shipment, man, that's crazy.
That's a funny story.
Yeah. At the time, it wasn't funny. It was traumatized.
No.
It's like, what the hell? But yeah. So.
Oh, Kevin says that they had Records on Wheels in Sudbury as well.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice, yeah.
My number 4 is Let There Be Rock.
Nice.
And I noted that I really liked the songs Dog Eat Dog, Whole Lot of Rosie, and Problem Child. Problem Child is wicked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great tune. Well, that was on the Dirty Deeds
That was on
Canadian
our Dirty
version.
Deeds, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think, didn't one have a longer outro to it?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There's always slight differences.
Yeah, little, yeah.
So that brings us full circle back to 3.
Wow.
And I guess T-Bone.
T-Bone's
T-Bone
number.
or Dar?
Well, we'll go with Dar since he's watching. His number 3 is Let There Be Rock. So yeah, good solid pick there, Dar. Yeah, you got the thumbs up from Ladano, so all is good in the hood, buddy. But yeah, solid album. You know, what can you say about that one?
Gotta say.
T-Bone's number 3 is For Those About to Rock. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. And I'll tell you a great story about that. T-Bone was the first guy to get that record. I went with him.
Ever? In the world?
Quite possibly. He bought it the day it came out. And we went back to his house, and I can't even tell you how long we stared at that gatefold of that live shot in the middle. And just listening to those songs, and it's like, wow, this is so good. And then we went to school the next day, and there was a kid that was a year older than us, and he was wearing an AC/DC shirt. And we said, hey, what do you think of the new one? It's just sides 3 and 4 to Back in Black. And we're like, oh, no. Well, yeah, kind of. But yeah, but you know, it was kind of funny. But yeah, good pick, man. I like that one.
Harrison's adding some more information from Australia. They do have TNT there, but High Voltage is the international version. Powerage is domestic, and Let There Be Rock is an odd mix of both.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
And Eric Litwiller is talking about the songs COD, Evil Walks, Inject the Venom.
Yep.
And he says it's the best Brian Johnson album with a bullet, which I guess, spoiler alert, he has no more Brian Johnson on his list from this point forward.
Spoiler alert.
Kevin Semister, Let There Be Rock is his number 3.
Okay.
He says Problem Child is not on here, but it should be. Oh, no, sorry. Problem Child should not be on here, but it is perfect otherwise. Legend has it that Phil Rudd hammered his way through the title track in one take on Let There Be Rock.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, solid drummer.
I can only guess. I can only guess what Holland means for his number 3. Shittin' black, hit the sack. See a doctor, you may be bleeding internally. I'm assuming that means Back in Black. And Meat, for his number 3, we got Powerage again. Another Powerage.
Nice.
So we're seeing a lot of Powerage. That's great.
Yeah, that's a solid. That's a solid pick.
Circle. Yeah, for sure.
So we're on number.
We're full circle back to number 2.
I think we skipped me.
You're right. We did. We skipped you, so we're not.
And I don't really have to say too much because I kind of told my story in regards to T-Bone, as we both had For Those About to Rock for number 3. So all good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's go to number 2.
Dar and T-Bone are up again.
Well, I'm going to do Dar and T-Bone together because they both picked the same one, and that's Back in Black.
This is the second time that they've picked the same one.
Yeah, it must be a bro thing.
Must be.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, great starting point. I mean, I think Back in Black was for a lot of us. I mean, depending on your age, I guess, where, you know, we came out of the Cheap Tricks, the Kiss, Queen, like, you know, the clean sound, and then all of a sudden here's this band AC/DC. Sure, their Mutt Lange album sounded clean, but I think the second AC/DC record I ever got was Let There Be Rock, and it was like, poof, my buddy Muck got it, and I heard it at his house, and it was like, what the hell? Like, this album's only, at the time, only 3 years old, but man, it's just so rough and ready, and man, there's another dude singing, and da-da-da-da. Then you get into the whole history with them, but you know, Back in Black for us, I think I can say for us 3, especially me and T-Bone, was our starting point into the school of AC/DC. So, yeah, good pick, boys.
Well, I'm going to get into my starting point, but regarding Back in Black, expanding my AC/DC knowledge was Up to Much Music, and I think Back in Black there was like 4 videos, you know, all recorded in the same fucking session, right? With Brian Johnson wearing the hat.
The same afternoon.
Right.
Yeah.
But so Much Music, obviously, they introduced me to a lot of AC/DC from Back in Black that way. This brings us to Kevin. He's got for his number 2, Highway to Hell. And he says Bon went out on the highest of high notes, which that can't be argued. He did an amazing job on Highway to Hell, and you can only speculate what could have happened if Bon had survived.
True.
You know, Back in Black would have been musically similar, but, you know, the vocal melodies and whatnot could have been very different. So really cool, Kevin, that you picked Highway to Hell for your number 2. I'm sure we'll be talking about that one again.
We will.
Holland has power anal leakage. The international mix, he says that the UK vinyl is a rough mix with some differences. So this kind of brings me to a question of, does that mean that there's 3 versions of Powerage? The international version, the Australian version, and a UK vinyl with a rough mix? I'm curious. So maybe when I post this on YouTube, maybe he'll come back to me with some comments on that. I'm just curious what he means by that for that Powerage.
Yeah.
And for me, we got, hey guys, say hello to Thunder Bay. I don't know if you can hear them.
Yeah, I could hear them. That's awesome. Tell them thanks.
Thank you from Thunder Bay.
Thanks for not giving my name out.
No.
Just joking. I'm just joking.
Just my neighbors.
If you do, just say I'm Darren Erickson. It's all good.
Yeah, no problem. Darren or T-Bone, we'll go with either.
Yeah.
Meat, I'm going to say this before we get to Meat's number 2. He says his favorite AC/DC quote ever is from Josh Homme. Do you realize the fucking patience it takes to be Malcolm Young? I don't really know what that means, but I like it.
Well, he was the king of the riffs, man.
We're getting some feedback here from Kevin Semister. Cold-Hearted Man is included on the European version of Powerage. So apparently there's a 3rd version of Powerage.
Wow.
And Harrison's got... I got to scroll here. Harrison has the Australian track list for Let There Be Rock here for me to read. Go Down. Shit, I'm having trouble with my scrolling. Sorry.
It's okay, pal.
Go Down, Dog Eat Dog, Let There Be Rock, Bad Boy Boogie, Problem Child, which is Overdose on the domestic release, Crab City in Blue, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, and Whole Lot of Rosie. I'm really losing track of all these AC/DC albums at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like one track off this one here and kind of, yeah. But that's the collector in you, Mikey. You'll get them.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I said, I wish I bought that TNT when I saw it locally for $20.
It happens, bro.
Whatever.
It happens.
I believe we're at your number 2.
My number 2 is Flick of the Switch.
Wow.
Boom.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just love the rawness of it. I love the mix, the non-production. I just like it all, you know. Like, I just think it's a great record. I mean, you know, some of these records, it depends where it hits you at that certain point in time, you know. I was 16, I think, close to 16 when it came out, and my summertime job, I went and bought Flick of the Switch, right? And when I heard it, it was just the exact opposite of the sonics of the previous 2 records. And I thought, wow, this is so good. And then, you know, I started reading magazine articles, and it's like, you know, the album's stalling on the charts and yada, yada, and da-da-da. And they don't have a single. But you know what? That's the thing I like about it. There is no singles on it. Yeah, they release singles, but just videos. But the songs are just so good, you know. House is on Fire, Rising Power. The title track, Flick of the Switch itself, with that riff that Angus and Malcolm cook up in that tune, man. It just sounds like you're loading up on the school bus with AC/DC, and they're driving that bus straight into hell. I mean, it does not get any better than that, you know. So yeah, such a great record. So yeah, that's my number 2, man, and I stick to it.
Perfect. My number 2, High Voltage. I think this is the highest we're going to see that album. I don't think anybody's got it as number 1, but yeah, it's my number 2 because of those bagpipes, for one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the North American version here, no fancy Australian stuff. Man, I don't know. I can't say enough good stuff about High Voltage. I don't think there's a bad track on there.
No, it's pretty cool, man. It's a pretty cool, like, rock and roll singer. I mean, that whole autobiographical is that tune that Bon wrote. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about his lyrics for a second. Through all the AC/DC albums he was on, he's one of the best, man. You know, totally one of the best.
Here's some memorable ones from when I was coming up to the lake today. But I got patches on the patches of my old blue jeans.
Yep.
Well, they used to be blue when they used to be new. Yeah. When they used to be clean.
Yeah.
Poetry.
Poetry in motion, man. Yeah.
This brings us to number 1, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Dar and T-Bone.
Darn T-Bone, you're not going to believe this, Mikey, but looking at the notes, they picked the same number 1 and number 2s. Shocker! They both went with Highway to Hell.
Nice.
And top 8. He
Deke,
said,
you're frozen.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
He said his Highway to Hell would probably be in his all-time top 5. So for him, that's an impact album. So yeah, good on him, and good on T-Bone. That's a
good future list idea. Top 11 impact albums. Maybe we'll do that in the future.
That would be fun, for sure.
Yeah. It has to be ones that seriously hit you in the chest.
Well, we know one of Dar's.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
So Dar and T-Bone, Highway to Hell. Kevin Semister is on my list here. He is the only one to put Back in Black at number 1.
Yeah, good on him.
He says he has a personal message for you here. He says Brian wrote the lyrics and refined the melodies on the album. Give him what he is owed, Deke.
Hey man, I was just reporting what I read out of that book, pal. Jesus, Murphy, you think I'm like the be all end all of the Bon Scott conspiracy theory that they stole his lyrics for Back in Black? Dude, I was just reporting the facts. So, but you know what?
Yeah, man. Like, who do you think you are, Billy Sheehan?
Yeah, fucking rando. But yeah, there's a story for
We
another
won't get
time.
into that
Nah,
story. I
not
don't think
not.
we want to live stream that story.
Nah, I don't want to get sued. But yeah, it's God, man, I went off. I forgot my trail of thought there. Oh, with the lyrics. Yeah, I mean, well, that Jesse Fink book was a good read, and I know Kevin bought it because I read it and reviewed it, and he makes some good points. But it's I just found some of those lyrics on how Bond wrote. Some of it sounded like peace and love, Deke. It's all good, pal. Is
You're forgiven.
just sounded some Bonnish on those lyrics on some of Back in Black, like a little clever. Because then after that, the rest of the records that followed, the innuendos that Bond was so good at, and
Well,
there's
big
that,
balls. That's all it is.
yeah, so, but yeah, but you know what? It made for a good read, and it makes for good conversation, and makes for great debate. And you know
Great
what, Kevin?
blogging.
Yeah, Kevin might be right. He might be, they refined
Yep.
it and went with it. They do. From that Jesse Fink book, they still make royalty payments from Back in Black to Bon Scott's family. So whether they're doing that for the kindness or they're just doing that on down low, not to make racket, who knows what? Nobody will never know. Those guys are so tight with their no info ever leaked from
Yep.
ACDC ever. Never
No.
anything.
I think they probably have serious confidentiality agreements in their contracts.
Well, like nobody ever. Yeah, like Angus and Malcolm. I mean, you're either in with them or you're out with them. Especially, I think. Well, we all know that Malcolm ran that band, so
Yeah.
with an
He
iron
made the
fist.
choices.
Well, he did. I mean, look at he was they're rifling through producers and managers in the '80s. So, here today, gone tomorrow.
Harrison Kopp says regarding the top 11 Impact albums that it would be an interesting one, but it would be very hard to rank them. Well, that's the point, buddy.
Mm.
Holland McGroin, I'm going to read this. I kind of got to give him credit for one thing. He could have said "Let there be cock" when that would have been fine, but he put "Let there be big, hard, sweaty cock."
Yeah, well,
International edition.
yes, there we go. And
So,
we just lost 10% of our viewers. But
no
anyways,
shit. Uncle Meat, "Let there be rock." So they have the exact same number one.
there we
Because
go.
Uncle Meat always means the international editions.
Mm-hmm.
Meat also says that Bond was a part of early rehearsals on some of the Back in Black songs. I believe that's 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison, can you confirm? I don't know why he would ask Harrison confirm. Do they teach that in school in Australia? Is that why Harrison would confirm? This is part of his national identity that they have to know whether Bon Scott contributed to
But
Back in Black or
didn't
not?
they? Didn't
I
I?
don't know.
I think I read somewhere, and Kevin will probably confirm this or deny it. But I thought he was jumping on the drums in rehearsals for Back in Black when they were farting around, thinking about it back in London when they were just jamming out. There we go. He confirmed it.
Um,
Attaboy, Kevin.
and Meats has a long comment here. Bad Boy Boogie is the only AC/DC song that he has ever sang live. He's with Deke. Hard band to make sound right when it is riding the ceiling of my voice. When my voice was good, it was killer. Not so a couple times at least. Not so good a couple times at least. I also like that Angus plays a one-note solo for at least 30 seconds, chock full of rippers. That was regarding Bad Boy Boogie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, we're and Harrison. Okay, so I'm gonna call this racist that Uncle Meat thinks that Harrison automatically knows about AC/DC because they teach it in schools or something. Harrison says I don't know. He's like AC/DC isn't a specialty of mine, not a band that he's really passionate about. So
Here,
Meat, you're a racist.
here comes the political fallout.
Yeah, the political fallout. I'm gonna get canceled tomorrow. Michael Ladano getting canceled.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God. Okay. So we have done Meats, Let There Be Rock. We're down to just you and me. That's it. Just you and me. Number one.
Nice. My number one all-time AC/DC album is Power Age. And you know what? There's similarities between Power Age and Flick of the Switch. Both recorded raw, both recorded without a single. I think with Power Age, what was it, Rock and Roll Damnation? I think the record company probably said, come on, guys, we need to throw us a bone of something that we can at least get on the radio for a bit, because the rest of that album is, like you said, gone shooting, kicked in the teeth, like so good. A lot of good stuff on there. Down Payment Blues, I think, is probably one of my favorite AC/DC tunes. Give Me a Bullet, What's Next to the Moon, Sin City.
What's Next to the Moon?
That
What's
part.
the cover art?
Love the cover, but my favorite part of the Power Age is the back cover, man. That is one of the coolest back covers ever. Bond kind of slinking in behind Angus.
Have you done a back cover post on Power Age yet?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
so everybody go to Arena Rock and check that out.
Yeah, it's, you know what? That's one of my favorite back covers. I mean, that's AC/DC broke. Like no cash, no nothing. I mean, that's just
no budget, none.
Zippo. Hey, my daughter's on. Hey, Kylie. She's even watching. Okay, yeah.
Good timing, because we're done reading Holland titles.
Yeah. Thank God.
Okay, so Meat is doubling down on his Australia thing. He's saying now he wants to know about Olivia Newton-John, Cliff Richard, and Men at Work. Come on, Harrison, give me the facts. And Harrison is now talking about Baby Animals, which he reviewed on his site, The Mad Metal Man. Baby Animals, great band, he says. They're from Australia.
I know Baby Animals, and I wasn't with them on this trip, but I know T-Bone and Dar seen Van Halen on the Carnal Knowledge tour a little while after, and it was Baby Animals. I remember T-Bone coming back saying it's some Australian band, Baby Animals.
And Nuno Betancourt was married to the lead singer guitarist, I believe.
Ah, that's right.
And Kylie wants to know where you are. Dad, where are you recording?
I'm next door at John and Maria's, because remember, they're still stranded in Spain. I'm in a bunker.
He's in a secret bunker.
Yeah, I'm in the Current River bunker. No, I'm next door because. Read.
Okay, stop. Okay, Meat, stop. We have Deeks. Dars likes Baby Animals. He says they're solid, cool band.
Yeah, there we go. There's the confirmation. So, but Power Age, man. Love that record, Mikey. And you know what? Power Age, flick of the switch. And I look at my list here quickly, and down the middle, it's 5 Bond albums and 5 Brian albums and Who Made Who. So
nice.
I kind of like that. So, but
awesome.
yeah.
Well, I guess this is it.
This is it.
This is the finale. I'll take another swig of my sponsored by Canada Dry.
You're starting to really sponsor. The audio is good, Mikey, but you're cutting up, buddy.
Same with you.
Really?
So it's a good thing we're at the end.
Good. What's your number one, buddy?
Dirty Deeds.
Nice.
My first AC/DC ever.
Mom's asking you to water your plants. To water the plants.
Man, she's got a lot of plants here. I guess so. Sure. Yeah, I know where the watering the thing is. So sure, yeah, I'll water the plants. There's a lot here. I guess. Maybe I'll live stream that tomorrow.
Must see TV.
Dirty Deeds, yeah, my first.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Big Balls was the thing for a child to get into, because I just thought it was funny that he's talking about big balls.
Right.
And the title track,
mm-hmm.
We used to call it The Guy with the Frog in His Throat. The part where Bond goes, and the cheap,
right.
Or if that's Angus, I'm not sure. Whoever right. does that voice, we used to call it The Guy with the Frog in His Throat.
Yeah.
And I was in grade 5, and I'm playing this song at school. And I kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit got in shit for playing rock music during lunch at school. I did get asked if I was playing rock music at lunch at school. And it was the deeds and the dun the cheap. Oh.
Yeah. Well, what can you say?
So that's my story.
Hey, that's a good story. I mean, you're number one. I mean, there's actually nothing wrong with anybody's number ones through 8 through 11. You know, it's just personal choice, and that's what makes these things fun. It's like if we all had the same top 11, top 8, top 4, whatever. well, except for the Erickson brothers, they're on the same kind of wavelength with
Yeah.
about 30% of their picks, but that's a brother thing, so that's to be expected.
Yeah,
But
they probably grew up playing the records together.
yeah, and then I'd come in and say, "Hey, you gotta play some Maiden," But that it's fun to do these. It's fun to hear everybody else's lists. I mean, yeah, it's just super cool because we all have personal connections to all these records, and that's the fun thing about it. And plus, get to spout off about it, so that's fun too. So thanks again for having me, brother.
Thank you. We talked about the possibility of doing a top 11 ballads. I'm wondering if you think you could contribute to that one.
I could give it a shot.
I don't know. I would like to have a co-host anytime I do a top 11. You might be because I can't count on Meat, and I know Harrison's out.
Well, probably I can already tell you my top three. Two's Up would be in there.
Two's Up is a ballad?
To me, it is.
I'd let you have Ride On.
Oh, yeah, good. You know what? Yeah, I'm in for that. Now that you threw Ride On, yeah, I could probably work something out with that. And then I could just go with 8 Whitesnake songs. So, there's... Mikey's horrified right now. Can't even say anything.
No, sorry. I'm trying to understand Meat's comment. He wants to see if this works. I'll try when you read this. It doesn't. Never mind. I think maybe he was trying to do a 3-way with you, is what I'm thinking.
Hey, easy. My daughter's on here, man. Chill out.
Well, Deke and Sue and T-Bone, Dar, and Frank.
T-Bone's out at camp, so he said he'll be watching on his big screen when he gets back into
looking
town.
Forward to that.
So, yeah, and Dar's probably watching it. Dar's probably watching it on his big screen right now. So thanks for joining us, pal. Or whoever else I know that was watching. Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh, Meat would be in for a top 11 ballads.
Well,
he said he would have a different kind of list. Maybe I could get him to co-host. That would be cool.
There you go.
All right. So who knows what will happen next week, but thanks for joining. And I've had a fun time, and I'm going to use these lists right now to start tonight's fire.
Like Billy Joel said, we didn't start the fire. So thanks again, Mikey.
I am going to. Yeah, you take it easy, man.
All right, you have a good
Darren
weekend.
Says, love it. Yeah, you
Thanks,
too.
Dar.
You too. Take care.
All right, guys.
Ciao.
Bye now.
Bye. Yes, Eric. Any genre for any ballads you want to do? You want to do all Barry Manilow ballads, all Sinatra ballads, whatever, anything. Thank you for these great comments. I think I read every one of them. I'm not sure, but yeah, Jen's going to be wanting me to make her some hamburgers, and I've got some wood to burn, and I got my Helix shirt on. I got my Rick and Morty shorts. It's only 8 o'clock, 8:15, so we've got the whole night ahead of us. And, yeah, I really enjoyed this tonight. Really, really had a good time. Meat, would you be interested in co-hosting the Top 11 Ballads episode? I want to know if you would be interested in co-hosting that before I go. Any genre. Anything. Country ballads. Whatever. I'll do that. Okay, so... I'm not saying it's going to happen next week, but it will happen at some point when we do this show. Me and Uncle Meat will be doing the top 11 ballads of all time, all genres. Thank you for tuning in. I had a blast. This will be on YouTube in a day or two. Ciao.